Okay, we'll call the regular meeting of council for November 22nd to order at 3 p.m. And I'll ask for a motion from Councillor Jones that council adopt the agenda for the regular council meeting November 22nd as amended to include item 5.3 being the renewal of farm lease agreement with Montrose Farms, as well as item 7A being the public comments. And item 7A is going to be added just because we had some feedback from the public wanting to provide us feedback after we've made some of the decisions that we do in these meetings. So we used to do that prior to the Zoom meetings. We always did it in the public in-person meetings. So we're just adding it back into these ones. So if the public does want to have a request to speak taken on, they can email. We can't do it on here because we can't do the participants for the public. It gets too much of a gong show. So what you have to do is just email a request to speak to legislative services at highriver.ca, or you can send one directly to me, csnodgrass@highriver.ca, if that's easier for you. So, and then just say you got a request to speak, and then we'll make sure you get in at item 7A. So Councillor Jones, with that motion, please.
Thank you, Mayor Snodgrass. I'll give you that motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Consent agendas. I'll ask for a motion from Councillor Kinghorn that following are adopted by omnibus motion in accordance with Council's procedure bylaw. November 8th, regular council, November 8th, org meeting of council minutes, and the strategic priorities chart.
Thank you, Mayor Snodgrass. I will give you that motion.
Thank you very much. Questions, comments? All in favor? Carried. Any public comments before the meeting, Jody? See none, hear none.
Sorry, there are no public comments.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I kind of blindsided you on that one. Third quarter financial report, Leanna.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I'm here today. I'm going to tell you I'm leaving my camera off. I'm having issues with my video this afternoon, so otherwise it gets kind of fuzzy. So I'm just here to update Mayor and Council on our third quarter financial performance for both operating and capital. We do this on a quarterly basis to be fiscally responsible and transparent with our community. At the end of our third quarter financial performance for our operating, we had actually spent 80.6% of our original budget, with for our total expenses to be $26.9 million. And that shows us a surplus of $4.5 million due to timing differences as we record all of our tax revenue in June of the year. For our capital budget, we have a total budget of $39.3 million. At the end of September, we had spent $8.2 million, and administration is projecting that we are going to have a $27.4 million carry forward for the 2022 capital budget. This includes $19.5 million in renewal capital projects and $7.9 million in town capital projects. Out of our estimated carryovers of the $19.5 million, we are required to spend all of that money by December 31st, 2022. Otherwise, we will need to return the funding to the province of Alberta. Some of this grant funding will be eligible to be reallocated to the county depending on completion of town renewal projects. Does anybody have any comments or questions?
Get my unmute to work. As this is information only, there's no motions or anything. So does any questions from council? Pretty straightforward. All good. Thanks, Leanna.
Thank you.
Capital budget amendment, protective services vehicles. Over to you, Cody.
Afternoon, Mayor and Council. I'm bringing forward today a capital budget amendment for two peace officer patrol vehicles for our new Protective Services Division that we're starting up for January 1st. So currently, up until this point, Foothills County has been providing our peace officer service as a contracted basis. Back in May, Council made the decision to look at our own peace officer program, and as such, December 31st, our contract ends with Foothills County. During that preparation for the turnover, it was thought that we would be receiving back one of the county vehicles that we had paid some of the capital into. It was a 2018 Ford Explorer CPO1 or Community Peace Officer 1 vehicle. As it stands, based on the contract and digging through it a little bit, we will not be receiving that vehicle back. Foothills County will be keeping that vehicle. The contract basically stipulates that we will be receiving the depreciative value back on that vehicle at the time we end the contract with them. So there will be some funds. We're currently in negotiations with the county to determine what that exactly is for a dollar amount. So that leaves us in a bit of a lurch with our new program that we're trying to get up and running and vehicles. We were able to find a demo vehicle that was already pre-rigged and set up with lighting and all the required equipment from a company up in Edmonton. It does save us a little bit of funds from buying new, and also saves us from trying to track down a vehicle. We've been getting lead times of vehicles into 2023 for some fleet purchases, as well as mid 2022. So it puts us in a bit of a bind with vehicles. So the demo vehicle that we found is a 2021 Ford Explorer. It's set up with all the required lighting, barriers, kind of all the equipment that we'd need for that vehicle to perform CPO1 duties. And then the second vehicle is a Ford Escape that would be used strictly for bylaw services. So not a lot of the lighting or any of those sorts of things on it, really simple lighting package that the bylaw officer would utilize for performing bylaw services within the community. So what we're asking for is a budget amendment of $150,000 to the capital budget to go ahead and purchase these two vehicles and move forward with implementing our program in January 1st, 2021. And just to kind of add to that, at this point, Austin, our new CPO1, has been kind of doing some of the bylaw stuff already. We weren't quite ready for it, but he's got it up and running now, and we're taking files as we speak right now. So, is there any questions or comments?
Thanks, Cody. Questions, comments from council? Being pretty straightforward. See none, hear none. I'll ask for a motion from Councillor Nychuk to council approve the request for capital budget amendment for 2021 for the purchase of two protective service vehicles not to exceed in the amount of $130,000 in order to proceed with the implementation of the proposed bylaw model for January 1st, 2022. Michael?
I will give you that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. All in favor? Easy money, Mr. Zebedee. Thanks, Cody. Renewal of farm lease. Jody?
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and Council. The purpose of this presentation and this motion is to renew the lease for the municipal lands located south of town. They are attached in the agenda package and defined in the proposed lease agreement. These lands were acquired in 2018 in conjunction with renewal projects for flood mitigation in the area. The lands, because they were required for flood mitigation, include a risk statement indicating that flood risk remains with the leasee and the town will not be liable for any damages. The lands have been leased for 2019, 2020, and 2020-21 growing seasons as a farm lease to Monteith Farms, Inc. And the area is approximately 20 acres. It has been leased the last few years at $60 an acre. When I connected with our assessor, Stuart Dalrymple, he provided a wide range of farmland lease rates, and these are not really our area of specialty. But what he provided was $34 to $93 per acre. As a result of some additional further local research, it appears a quarter section or 160 acres of good cropland would result in a lease rate between $65 to $100 per acre. Given this information, administration recommends council enter into a further lease for 1 year with an option to renew for an additional year for the lands based at a rate of $80 per acre, again with that flood risk being on the lease fee. Are there any questions regarding this information or the recommendation in front of council?
And you said $80?
Yes.
Sorry, I was running around doing other. Okay, I think that's fair. I made a couple of phone calls to some of my farming buddies, and anywhere from, for this type of land, anywhere from 75 to $100 per acre is kind of where they're at. So $80 per acre seems fair to me for this. So increases it to what, $1,600, I guess. Any questions, comments from council? Pretty simple again. That's for a motion from Councillor Barton that council direct administration to enter into a new lease agreement with Monteith Farms for a portion of the lands located just south of High River on the west side, RR 291, with a legal land description of blah, blah, blah for 1 year from April 1st, 2022 to March 31st, 2023, with one option to extend for 1 year at a cost of $80 per acre on a total of, for a total of $1,200 per, or $1,600 per farming season.
Mayor Snodgrass.
Sorry, let me finish that, Jamie. Sorry. Scribbling and writing at the same time. And that council authorizes the mayor and CAO to execute the lease agreement on the above noted terms and conditions.
Ready?
I am now, yeah, thanks.
Okay. Mayor Snodgrass, please accept the motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Great. Thank you very much. All done on that one, Jody. Okay, now, because IT had to steal one of my computers and I'm now on the other one, I got to find something before I start in on this. There we go. Oh God, I hope that isn't it. No, that's not it. Good. Sorry. Here we go. Okay, so this is going back to the coal mining coal policy work that the town's been involved in for well, since January of last year is when we got involved. So all I'd like to do is reaffirm with the new council that we're still on the same page as to the harmful effects of coal mining not being a benefit to not just High River, but to any community in Alberta, as it's directly affects all of our water supply, et cetera, and directly affects our landscapes in this province. So this isn't just about High River, it's about the province. So in your agenda package was the coal policy, the proposed coal policy that we put together, and this is the one that went out to all municipalities, First Nations, and we had businesses sign on to it as well. And this is also what Bruce Masterman and I presented to the Coal Policy Committee when they were doing, after we convinced the government they needed to rewind this thing and do proper public consultation, which is what the work the Coal Policy Committee was doing. And this was presented to them along with all the municipalities that had signed on to this. Municipalities, First Nations, and just businesses that signed on to it. So what I'm looking for is just, I'll make the motion once I find it again. So I'll ask for a motion that council endorse the Alberta coal restriction policy as proposed and previously adopted by the Town of High River Mayor and Council. and that'll be moved by myself. So I'll open it up for questions, comments, feedback. Jamie, yeah. Kinghorn.
Just say, sorry. Thank you, Mayor Snodgrass. Yeah, I'm
You're
glad you
used to
brought
that.
this back. I'm glad you've brought this back to this council, and I'm looking forward to this council reaffirming everything that we did over the last year. I'm hearing little scuttlebutts out of the province. They're like a fish on a hook, and they're trying to get off that hook. And I think we need to keep the pressure on. So I'll be supporting this motion. Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, thank you. And there's definitely a few things happening with people trying to discredit others simply because the Coal Policy Committee's work is done and they're writing the report now, which is due to the Alberta Energy at the end of December. So now that the work's done, there's a few individuals that are trying to discredit the whole Coal Policy Committee that was put together by the Alberta government and nobody else. So it's a little bit hypocritical in my mind, but there's also differing opinions up in Edmonton as well, which there is on every single issue, hopefully. So as that motion stands, no further questions. All in favor? Fantastic. Thank you very much. You have no idea how important this is. Maybe you do. Board and committee reports. So we've added this to the agenda. So previously, before I came on board in 2013, council would always have a session at the end of the council meetings where councillors that sat, or the mayor that sat on different boards and committees, if they would do a report every 2 weeks back. I don't want to get that in depth because it just took a long time. And so what I would request is that if there's things that come out of your boards and committees that's important and you want to share with council, or if there's questions that came out of a meeting that you want to ask council about, that's what this space is used for. It's not mandatory that every councillor has to say something on what you heard in the last 2 weeks. So if you have something, the floor is yours. Just stick your hand up and we'll start with Kelly.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to update you on an initiative that the Chamber of Commerce is putting into play here soon. It's a Shop Local initiative and a website to, I guess, act as a community forum for folks looking to come to High River to spend some money, or people who are looking for things to do within the community. So it will be open to all businesses, is my understanding. So it won't require you to be a member of the chamber in order to go in. And the platform is such that each business will be able to upload their own information, weekly specials, advertisements, that sort of thing, to help draw business support into High River. And so I'm not sure on the timeline for this. There's another meeting tomorrow just to sort of start polishing process to make it ready. But I think their intention was to launch it for this Christmas holiday season. So just thought everyone should be aware. And as I have more information, I'll update.
Good. Question for you. You know probably more about this stuff than I do already, Kelly, from your background. Shop local campaigns. It always kind of weirds me out that we're saying shop local, but we're asking people to come from other communities. Every other community is doing a shop local program too, right? So what do? We lock down in High River, or are we still sharing stuff? That's kind of where, you know, most of our businesses in this town, mine for sure, I lose 30% of my business if I'm only stuck with High River business, right? So instantly. And I know that's the same for a lot of the restaurants and stuff in town. So whenever I hear that, I want to make sure people understand that it's, you know, not locked down in High River. It's kind of a promo thing. And I don't know if there's different wording for it, or just when I hear you say that we're doing shop local, but we're inviting other people from other communities that are also doing shop local campaigns to talk to me. Help me out.
Well, I think when it comes to, shop local initiatives, it's basically to try and drum business support for your community and the businesses within it. And so the onus is on the individual business to be able to attract people, but this gives them a singular platform to see what's available in High River. So, for local High River residents, but also for people coming from outside of town. And so if there's enough of an offering, I think it becomes attractive for people. And we don't just service High River, we service Foothills, Nanton, Claresholm, Vulcan, all of the other surrounding areas. So the idea is to get people here. And then I think there's going to be some other initiatives that are sort of in the background and not ready to come forward yet within the chamber to help spur that by way of a carding system. So stay tuned, because there's more coming there that I think is quite exciting and is an initiative to get people to spend the money locally, which that's the next sort of piece to it. But I don't know that they're ready to talk about it, and it wouldn't be my place. But there is some fun things that they're going to do around that, and incentive for people to shop local.
I love it.
So
thanks for the explanation.
Stay tuned.
It did.
I hope that helps.
Oh, it does. Big time.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other counselors wish to share? Jenny? And then Brenda.
The library board has a initiative called the Montrose Story Walk, and it's put on by Dreams in the High River Library. And if you go around the Montrose area, there's a path that you can follow, and they have billboards with QR codes and a story on them. And the story is called Bad Dog. And you can do the walk and follow the story. And I think it's there for a few weeks. So it's really cute to see and go on a outdoor adventure and look at this really cute story that they've put up.
Cool. Love it. I'll send Lindsay and Orrin over there. Brenda.
I'll continue with the outdoor theme. I met with the nice people from Shepherd Park, and we had a meeting last week. Got introduced to everybody. They just basically covered their general stuff in a meeting. And their financial report was rather sad because they've, of course, refunded deposits for the next month or so. But I was invited to come down and have a tour of the site. And it was really, really great. We're very fortunate to have our own little heritage park right here. And that's all.
I never thought of it that way. It is just a mini heritage park, isn't it?
Yeah. It is. And I hope to see them do more with it, working with the library. They have somebody from from the museum. They have somebody from the museum that comes and attends the meetings and all the different service groups. So I think there's a really great, now that they've finished it or brought it up to snuff, I think they're quite ambitious. So that was good.
Nice. Anybody else? All good? Jody, did you get any requests to speak?
No, I do not see anything in our inbox at this time.
And neither do I. Council correspondence for information, it's all there. Transition police service. That's going to be an interesting one for everybody to watch, how they're going to pull that one off. Foundation, election, congratulations. Premier Kenny congratulated me. That's excellent. Right on. Any other questions, comments? Meeting adjourned, 3:24 p.m. Thank you very much. See you, bye.
Thank you, Mayor.